We're here in Dublin, California, where history has just been made. Marika Lyszczyk has just walked off the mound after two successful innings pitching for the Dublin Leprechauns, becoming one of the few women to take the hill in pro baseball.
What's up, guys? This is Kash, Chairman, CEO, and co-founder of Baseball United, the first professional baseball league in the history of the Middle East and South Asia. And you're watching the Legends on Deck podcast with my boys, Brian Koss and David Conde.
Welcome to episode 96 of the Legends on Deck podcast. I'm Brian Koss, along with my co-host, David Conde. And today we welcome back our guest from episode 82. We're catching up with David Aceron, who coaches a multitude of teams. We had a lively discussion about the work that he does with San Diego State's club team, the Dublin Leprechauns, San Diego State High School, or San Diego High School, and he's involved with a new travel program called the San Diego Show. David, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate the invitation back.
Well, we're excited that you even have the time to come on the show with us because with all these teams and I mean, in your family, I know you have a big family, so I know that the fact that we're able to get your attention, we feel blessed by that. So we appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
So, kind of give us, you had your season, right? So when we had you on, I think it was the beginning of when the season was going to get started. I believe is when we had you. Can you give us a recap of how the season went? What was the nuances of the season, maybe, and where'd you guys end up? And then we'll kind of get into the surprise that you had, that you brought onto the season, which it's a good thing to talk about. Give us a little bit of a background, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we went back. We had a lot of additional amenities this season, which was amazing. It was great. We stayed at Camp Parks, the military base. We stayed at a hotel there. The guys were, I only had like about 5 returners come back. So I had a myriad of people on the roster spanning from kids from the Dominican Republic, from Cuba, from Mexico, from, Wisconsin, all over the place. And, for them to have their first experience, for the rookies to have their first experience and, staying in the hotel in having lunch for free, having dinner for free, having laundry for free, having, the gym for free. I mean, having that experience for their first, taste of professional baseball, I think was huge, and gas cards, and it alleviated a lot of stress, from the athlete to just go over there and just do their job, which is play the game, because, a lot of guys in the league, they don't have that experience. There's been, myriad of stories of guys having to, sacrifice staying in a vehicle, staying, at the ballpark in the whether it's the clubhouse or in the dugout, just to play the game they love. So we're very fortunate that Dublin came together and was able to provide for the athletes this year.
That's a great experience. One is to say that you have food and place to stay. I've known guys that have played independent baseball, and the experience has always been like, oh my God, like I got to spend all this money and I got to eat and I got to find a place to stay and I don't have the resources and I can't keep doing this. I mean, what you're providing or what, your team has provided for guys to really just play baseball, right? Just don't focus on anything else. We need your full attention. We got you on the living and food situation, and especially if you guys coming from DR, Mexico, that, maybe they don't know what they're coming into, right? They're like, oh, what is that experience going to be like for me? And, do I have to struggle? So I think what the team, provided is a huge thing for a lot of guys that are kind of like going through the whole independent pro ball situation.
Absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more. The year before, we did not have these amenities. We had everything spanning from, players losing their mom, and I had to, work through that, or a kid accidentally stabbing himself, or a kid going through anxiety issues, or players coming up to me saying, Skip, I'm hungry. Can you help out, with food? Or, just I can go on and on and on. And this year was much better just because, they had a roof over their head. They had the whole entire, Tri-City Valley and Dublin backing them up. It was phenomenal. It was incredible. So when they asked me to come back a third season, the season coming up next, I was like, yeah. I have other teams that are trying to, that are in discussion with me that are, in other leagues, but, coming back a third season as their skipper, I would be honored to do that. And I'm going to do that. So.
I wanted to say one thing about the food thing. We had a tournament recently. It was an invitational here locally for younger kids. Kids are up to 18 years old, and we had a team come from Team Belize from a different country. And they came here, and it was one game. I think the last game that they had, they ran out of money, and the money that they thought they were going to have, it wasn't put towards the food. It ended up having to be put towards the hotel. The money that they were going to have didn't come. And I literally saw kids playing baseball all day long, but not eating. They hadn't eaten all day long, So it's just I understand when you shared that about providing for these guys who are coming from different countries, they're coming from different areas, and being able to provide for them what they need. People don't realize how important that is. People don't realize the little thing, the smallest little thing of food or bed means a whole different attitude towards a kid who's trying to, become a professional ball player.
And then not only, so I just want to kind of dive kind of deeper into that. Not only was it food, but it was all you can eat. It was buffet style. So these guys were taking, to-go plates back to the hotel. I had a kid from the DR that got released from a team, and I don't need to mention the team or anything like that. He got released by the team. And before, this is how he got released. He asked the manager, when's next practice? The manager said, oh, yeah, don't worry about it. We'll get you there. Got him in a vehicle, put him in the airport. The kid only had $85 to his name. He was from the Dominican Republic. His recruiter or his coach reached out to me and said, hey, I have a kid. He's at the airport. He's stranded at the airport. Is there any way that you can go and maybe give him a shot or whatever? Get the kid from the airport. We bring him to the field. I have a tryout right away, and I see this kid. I see him not only as an athlete, but I see him as a person, who he is. $85 in his pocket. I signed the kid to his first professional contract, or second, supposedly. And he has a bang-up season. He's like my starting center fielder. He calls me his father in the U.S. Like, he still texts me, like, you're my dad. You're my dad. Like, and the kid is just a great kid. He's coming back a second season. So he's just, we worked out the visas. The owner of the Leprechauns, or the general manager of the Leprechauns, my boss, the head guy that deals with all the admin and behind the scenes stuff, he has connections. So he's getting these guys visas. He's helping them out with, so it's just amazing. It's just amazing. Just the stories of these kids. It's incredible.
Yeah. I was involved, and David knows this, but I'm actually wearing one of my shirts, but I was involved in college summer league down here in Central Florida. But one of the things that we were able to do for the college students too is provide team meals after the games and things like that, right? So yours is a little bit more because you're also housing them, and you guys are doing a lot of travel. Our league was focused in Central Florida, and we travel from city to city, and they're all pretty close to each other. But we had a lot of engagement from local restaurants and local, food, providers and that. So is that where the meals are coming from? Or are they getting sponsored meals, or is the team actually purchasing like a meal plan for them?
Yeah, so it's on base. So it's a DFAC. It's a cafeteria. So it's like, these guys are walking in. like you would, any buffet, or I don't even know how to pronounce it. People tease me. They're like, it's buffet. It's buffet. I don't know how to
Yeah,
pronounce it,
yeah, yeah.
but so you go in there and they get their tray and they just kind of pick out what they want and they can come back for seconds. The DFAC manager was so gracious. He had dinner ready for us. He would come to our games, wherever we were at, and provide snacks for the guys, like power bars, protein bars, Gatorade, water. They were completely just happy that we were there. I mean, we're the first professional baseball team in Tri-City Valley, actually first professional team in Tri-City Valley. Tri-City Valley is three cities that are incorporated, three different cities, but we represent for Dublin. But all the people that are backing it are, the head honchos of those cities. So, i.e., mayors and politicians. And so it's amazing to see the growth. I was there the year after I got selected as a manager. The year after they went like 4-55. So I took over the program after that. We were half a game away from playoffs. My first year, the second year, this year we went to semis, and the next year, I guarantee you, we're probably going to win the Pacific Division. I can almost guarantee it. I'm just that confident in my team. So
Yeah, that's great though, and that gives me a little more context to it. So you've really your team has really been embraced by the local community. Like
uh,
they're seeing it. This is like their hometown team, and they're you've got support institutional from a variety of different community leaders.
yeah,
Rallying around the baseball team.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's huge.
Mhm.
That's huge. And I think, it speaks a little bit to, what independent ball can be, right?
Mhm.
We're kind of used to, like I was mentioning, summer league, which has a good element of that. But then the season is very short with the college summer leagues. Yours might be a little bit longer than that. But there's something to be said for as minor league baseball contracted in few seasons back, right? Independent ball has become more important. So, but it all maybe offers the communities a little bit more embrace too, because it's not even connected to the parent club, the way that minor league baseball is. So it's like truly a community effort.
Absolutely. And on that note, I mean, a lot of the indie teams, they go to the smaller towns, and you also get the environment that, I mean, isn't so pretty. I mean,
Yeah.
these guys, I mean, some of the stuff they say, whether it's personal comments because they looked up someone's social media feed, or because of their race, or because of just whatever. I mean, it's pretty brutal. Just listening to my guys on deck, kind of just what the crowd's right up on the fence telling them, and them having to go over there and perform. I mean, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild, but it's a good avenue for, like they say, this league is an entry point for athletes to get their foot in the door in professional baseball, but it's also kind of like the guys that have played at double A, triple A. It's kind of like somewhat of their like last leg. Like, okay, is the club going to pick me up? What's happening? Can I get to another independent league and make some money, whether it's in this country or not? I mean, it's a very interesting mix, and I'm just honored to be a part of it.
Well, I think at one point, you're there, all that craziness that are coming from the fans is just preparing them for pro ball.
It
Remember
is.
Cattell Marte, what he went through
Oh
with
yeah.
that one fan yelling at him,
Yep.
and people thinking that they can say whatever they want, and
Yep.
the unfortunate that there's a fence there and you guys are on a field and people around you and people feel the need to want to say anything. I just think it's just a little bit of preparation, not to say it's correct and it's right,
Right. Right.
but what's to come. I mean, if it gets out of hand, obviously you throw the guy out, but
Yeah.
make a lesson out of it. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's just preparing them.
It is. It is.
Do the other leagues? I want to ask you the teams that are you aware of, like the other teams in the other league in the league you play in, when you're traveling, do they provide the same thing for their players, or do you have any knowledge on that?
Yeah, some of them have host families. A lot of them have host families. A lot of them live in Airbnbs. I know that I think there's a few teams that stay in hotels. But for the most part, for us being an expansion team, I think we have probably by far one of the best amenities, in the league. I mean, we're pretty hooked up. So
And then a lot of the local, like you said, within your area, you have the sponsorships, you have the people that come to the games. I mean, do they see a lot of fan base at the games?
they do, they do. We probably have the I think the least amount of fans in the league, but we have some loyal fans. I mean, those fans are there every single game, home game we have, even away games. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I think we have the best fans in the league. I mean, they're amazing. Our fans are amazing. Shout out to Will and Mike.
Hmm.
Uh,
So let's jump into one of the things that you did this season that you shared with me, and it was having a first professional woman pitcher, not only for the Dublins, but I'm assuming for the league, for the area. To kind of get into like how did that come about, how did that connection come together, and how did she do?
yeah, so I was gonna sign a girl last season. Her name was Kelsey Whitmore. She's now playing on the Savannah Bananas, but in this league, there's like a ban, pretty much like players that can't play in the league just because of contractual agreements or league, different league intra, what have you. And so I wasn't able to get her, and so she ended up playing for the Oakland Ballers last year. But I had a connection with a pitcher that also wanted to play on my team but wasn't able to, and he reached out to me and he connected me with Marika. I looked into a little bit of her story. I had a conversation with her. She played at Sonoma State. I've coached women in baseball before, whether it was on the high school level, the travel ball level. Alyssa Marquez, she played, I believe, at Trinity College. I coached her. I coached Grace Valdez. She's like a professional race car driver. Martha Rodriguez. She's actually a director in Southern California right now. So I was used to and we also have, man, um, yeah, Alyssa, not Alyssa, but I have my other one too. But so, anyways, I was used to coaching, women in baseball, and a lot of people are very opinionated about it. Um, and it's kind of whatchamacallit. It's bad because she came on board and she was amazing. I mean, she was amazing. I mean, she's faced guys that were played D1, played D2, struck them out. A couple guys hit home runs off of her, or whatever. But she handled it with grace. She was an amazing person, amazing athlete. Obviously, she's a baseball influencer. You can see how many people follow her and know about her. And so it was just amazing for her to be the pioneer in the league to be the face of women in baseball in our league. So.
What? Yeah, Brian.
I was just thinking, like we were talking about the fans and crowd and all that. Was there an influx and when she joined your team? Was there an influx of interest in the team locally to drive attendance a little bit more?
There was an influx in crowd. There was an influx in players wanting to play for me, and so I had to kind of sift through that, like kind of like, all right, is this guy want to play, or is he trying to is this what is he trying to do here? And I've actually released guys because of comments that they've made, and they were good ball players. I mean, some of these guys played in the Frontier League, whatever, and they were good. I mean, they would have been good for me in the playoff run, but character wise, I'm all about character. I'm all about, what's this guy about? So these little comments that they made, I'm like, sorry, I'm going to have to release you. And they're like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, I'm serious. And they're like, this is, they would make comment, this is a joke, or I can't believe you did this, but it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah, so it creates a different sort of dynamic on the team because yeah, like you said, maybe some people want to join but you got to vet because hey, did they want to join because they know that she has a following and they think
mhm,
that's gonna bring some attention to them?
mhm.
Yeah, so navigating that the social dynamics of that
Yeah,
was probably a little challenging.
it was, and then the comments from like, other teams, kind of saying stuff, and me kind of listening to it, and them saying some stuff, and me kind of either shutting them up or having, or one of my players already shut them up because they're like, "Hey, that's my teammate you're talking about." So
Right.
it was very interesting dynamic for sure.
So I'm assuming that she earned the respect on
She
the
did.
field. She provided, showed everybody, hey, I belong here just like everybody else, and
Yeah.
did what she needed to do.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm super proud of her. She did phenomenal. And and I try to set her up for success. You know, that's the best thing I could do as a skipper. It's like set them up for success, know their skill set, and put them in when you believe it's the right move to put the athlete in to have the successful outcome. So she was very successful.
And what is she doing now with after that experience? She still want to play baseball?
Yes, yes. So she's probably going to come back next season as well, with more availability. Momentum is everyone's watching momentum in those clips with Trevor Bauer and Eric Sim, and she's at that facility, so it's really high visibility, and she works there. So I think next season it'll be a little bit more to prepare as far as availability, but yeah, she'll be coming back uh, next season potentially, from what I hear.
It's interesting. Major League Baseball had recently invested in, I believe, a softball league that was, professional women's professional softball league. They're putting money behind it. Um, but I do know that there's women. There's a seems to be an increasing amount of women that want to play baseball rather than softball. And I mean, I know a team here locally that actually went off and won a, national tournament doing that. And it was, more of a teenage range girls, but there's definitely a bit of a demand out there for it. And is there any effort that you know of to, um, to encourage women in the baseball space? Is there pushback from the softball side that says, we want to push the girls into softball because that's what's already established and has, college support behind it and things like that. Any insight on that?
Yeah, I mean, I've had that coaching throughout the years. I had a girl, Alyssa Marquez, who we were talking about, that pretty much got denied playing in the what is it, the throw, catch, run,
Mm,
MLB,
yeah,
whatever. I had to write a paragraph about her, and she ended up, I think she was just 12 years old. She ended up winning the entire thing, and there was an article on her. But yeah, there's a lot of pushback. But it's interesting as a coach. You have to when the athlete believes in something and you see their heart, you have to kind of back them up on it. Because for me, I've tried that. I've tried to talk to women that I've coached in the past, like, hey, in soft, because I was a softball coach too. I actually started off
yeah,
as a softball coach, and I've done travel in high school, and I told them, I said, hey, in softball, you'll probably have so many more opportunities. You'll probably have so many, and they're like, nope, sorry, coach, I'm a
yeah.
baseball person. I want to play baseball, and I'm like, and I just kind of guided them through it. So, but yeah, there's been a lot of pushback. I've actually had softball coaches that are collegiate softball coaches say, "Hey, if you get this girl with me, I'm telling you, she's gonna excel. She's gonna have a possibility to play at a higher levels past college." And I was like, she's not budging. She wants to be, she's a baseball player. So
Yeah,
Who,
yeah,
who are we to tell these girls that they
yeah,
can't do it, right? They're gonna
exactly.
we're gonna let them do it and go out there and excel and try it out. And if it works out, great. I mean, even the MLB The Show has a section now with a girl. You could play as a woman, rising her to the top, trying to get to the majors. Haven't
That's
got
so
there
cool.
yet, but I got one on the way. So um, let's shift gears a little bit.
Mhm.
It's always, it's a dynamic thing when I'm sure there's been many professional coaches out there that have been able to coach their sons, right? Have been
Mhm.
able to have their son on the team. Some people can see that as so many different ways. I've coached my sons for many years on a lower level. I always coach it where they're going to sit just like everybody else and they're going to get their time and earn it.
Right.
But I'm sure that it's also a great experience to have your child there because you can see them in the growth and you kind of have a hand in that. So you had your son kind of join your team this year. Kind of give us an insight of how that started, what
hmm
brought to that, and I can see he did very well. So, kind of share with us your experience with that.
Yeah, so he was playing on another team on the mountainside, and he just, it was some of the experiences he had. I was getting feedback from him, and then I was getting feedback from some of the players that were on the team, and I was just like, okay. And I was like, as a dad, I'm like, all right, he's going to grit through that. He's going to grit through that. I'm not going to try to interject. I'm not going to try to do anything. I'm just going to kind of leave it as is. And then fast forward in our season, because he went to camp with us actually in San Diego. So he was with some of my guys, the Leprechauns, and they've seen his skill set. And some of the veterans, the guys that have played in MLB draft leagues or played for the higher levels, are like, man, he's a pretty good kid for 18 years old. And so what ended up happening was I was getting feedback from the team, and then I got feedback from the manager, and he was like, yeah, he's super young, and I think I'm going to play him at this time frame, which means that he would only have like 3 weeks left in the season. And so one of my second basemen comes up to me and says, hey, Skip, I'm expecting a child. I'm like, what? I was like, why don't you tell me this prior to the season? He's like, I'm expecting a child. I'm going to have to leave at this time. I'm like, are you kidding me? And so, my wheels start turning. And then my other second baseman, I just saw that his body was kind of breaking down on him a little bit, just the wear and tear of baseball every day. He was getting tired. His legs were getting chewed up. So then I have a meeting with my veterans on the team, older guys. And I ask them, I say, hey, what do you think about this? And they're like, get him, Skip, get him. And so he asks for his release. He gets released. I pick him up. He comes over here, gets off the plane. Second baseman's kind of fumbling it. We're going against the pitcher of the year last year, a guy that started for University of Michigan for 4 years, played in the Pioneer Frontier League. He goes in the clubhouse, gets changed within 30 minutes, coming off the plane, comes up to bat and gets his first base knock center field off this kid as an 18-year-old, and the rest is history. But swimming through that, listening to the crowd, letting him have it, like we were talking about. As a dad, I had to step back and I had to control my emotions and my rage of trying to be Papa Bear, listening to the crowd and what they were telling him and how they were scolding him. And not, for an 18-year-old, that's a lot of pressure. I mean, a lot of pressure saying stuff. And at one point he told me, he said, this guy told me he was going to cut me in the parking lot. I said, yeah, I'd like to see a guy try that, and, just different stuff like that. I mean, but seeing him grit through it and overcome all of that, the transition, because at first it was bad. I mean, we get back to the hotel room, he would rage out. He was mad. He wanted to do something about it, but see the team come together, mentor him. And as a father, watching your son progress through that and become a man through that was something that I think I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life. I mean, he understood how to block it out. He understood how to swim through negativity, and it was just, I mean, I'm really emotional kind of talking about it because you watch your son become a man. It's huge.
Yeah. I want to ask you,
So,
you touched on it a little early in the show and you kind of mentioned it now. Not to get too deep into it, not to make this about, kind of going after it, but you shared about this negativity that you face, and where are you playing at? Are you playing in going back in time in the 1960s
yeah,
in a city that only
yeah,
developed past that age? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
what is going on
Yep.
that's going on, and has the league even done anything about it?
Yeah. So the difference, so I don't want to like specifically dime out the cities, but if you can tell the teams that I've played against, but the difference between Indy and affiliate, I mean, one of the biggest is, I mean, you have security. You have people that are going to mitigate that. I mean, in indie ball, it's a free for all. So these guys, and gals are saying whatever the heck they want and stuff that are, I mean, it's like, I mean, at one point, an umpire had to turn around and he started tossing guys out of the stands because they were saying personal stuff about him and the umpire's wife. I mean, they were saying stuff about the umpire's wife. They say stuff about players' deceased family members. I mean, they say stuff about. I mean, and yes, it is a good training ground because it'll get them prepared. But some of the stuff, I mean, I'm like, even to my own boy. I'm like, and I couldn't do it. I had to stay there at third base and just kind of wear it and just kind of, just stay stern and stay self-disciplined and show the rest of the team as well. This is how you handle it. This is how you handle it like a man. You're going to wear it, block it out, focus on everything that's in between the lines. But I mean, last year we had a player, not on my team, but on a opponent team. He ran into the stands, started beating the crap out of a person in the stand. Yeah, he caught a felony.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You kind of wonder, like, again, I always kind of, even at a Major League Baseball game, I know David's probably heard more of it being a Mets guy. Those New York fans are a little rough.
No, wait. Yankee fans are the crazy ones, not the Mets
Okay,
fans. I'm
maybe
sorry.
Yeah.
I've seen guys get beat up at Yankee Stadium. I don't see anybody getting beat up at State Stadium. But anyway, City Field, go ahead.
Yeah, but my point is that you take, like, a Major League Baseball player is getting paid at minimum $750,000 a year. Most of those guys on the field are making multiple millions of dollars. And there is some sort of expectation of high performance, right? Not that it justifies harassing them while they're playing, but you could understand where fans would get frustrated with a Major League Baseball player that's getting paid millions of dollars not performing to the level that is expected. Where people get off, like, harassing independent ball players that are, they're in the same financial situation, if not worse, than the fans in the stands. And it's like, man, like, this guy just wants to continue to play baseball, and you're just gonna try to destroy his entire, like, mental state while he's out on
So true.
it's crazy.
It's so true. It's so true.
Where people get the nerve to, like, come out and just take their own frustrations out on these guys that are just trying to stay in the game, right?
Yeah, I mean, we had guys last year, they made threats and, and they were outside the hotel room trying to, like, harass guys. We're off the field. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, you know?
Well,
Yeah,
the problem is too much of it's allowed, and I'm not sure if drinking has any part of it because I will cut the liquor out right away. But I think it's just too much
I'm
of
sure
it's
that
allowed.
helps. I'm
Yeah,
sure that fuels it. But
and these guys, they just have nothing else better to do, and they, like you said, they want to get into these guys' heads, and they think that's the only way. And unfortunately, the game of baseball is very, like I always say it all the time, is I always say 90% mental. If you can block out the noise, you could do a lot better. But sometimes the noise is just too loud and too disrespectful, and you can only do so much. We're human, right? You can only do so much. But I think as a coach, and I think you've shared how you've worked through that. I think as a coach, the best you could do is just keep the guys focused, silence the noise, focus on the game, and whatever happens after that is out of everybody's control. So I think at the end of the day, if you can continue to do that, then these kids, as they get older, they'll be able to block out that noise too, and not have to worry about the nonsense.
Absolutely.
Brian, maybe we need to have one of the hecklers come on the show and just be like, "Why do you
maybe
do
we
that?"
need to have, like, a fan etiquette. You're right. Maybe get a couple of guys that a pro con, like, should you, what is the proper etiquette for attending a baseball game? One guy that says that you can harass people, one guy that says it's not. I don't know, but yeah, I'd love to hear the justification from player or from fans on why they would show up to a game just to go after the players on the field. Right. I mean, the way I look at it, minor league baseball, independent baseball, collegiate league baseball, I mean, these are the lower levels, right? These are the guys that are trying to hang on and trying to maybe gain an edge so that they could potentially get signed by a major league club and maybe one day make the majors, right? And then the percentages on that are low. So, like, let's cut them a little bit of slack until they go and sign that $1 million contract, and then you could go call into sports radio and rant about how horrible they are on the field, right? So maybe give them a little leeway while they're on their way up.
Yeah, because
exactly.
I'll have to admit, I'm going to admit it right here in front of everybody. If you watch my recent X feed, I am going at the Mets. They're driving me crazy. I cannot understand why they're losing so much. I'm not physically abusing someone and calling out their personal thing. It's just like, why can you not throw a strike? So yes, I'm in that boat as well.
That's fair
But
though.
that's
That's fair
normal.
game.
That's normal, fair game, you know?
We're talking about a competitive baseball team that's on the verge of getting bumped out of the playoffs, and you're frustrated. Talking about major leaguers,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, I mean, but personal attacks on players and especially at that level is
Yeah.
it's pretty wild.
Oh yeah.
Well, Dave, I want to say no matter what the noise is around, I mean, from what I can see, your son did extremely well in the season, had a very good batting average. He hit for some power, drove in runs, had a good little streak, within the season, hitting streak. So I think at the end and he did well on the mound. At the end of the day, you gave him the experience that maybe can propel him to continue wanting to play the game and wanting to excel. And no matter at the end of the day, the noise was there, but it would be different if the noise was there and he didn't do anything. Then he
Correct.
let that affect him. The noise was there and he still did well on the field. So I think that's a good testament to his coaching staff.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I had to. Actually, it was never on the mound. They messed up on that stat, so
Oh, okay. Okay.
I gotta correct that. But no, no, he did really well for himself, and I think the older guys was really proud of him too. And they saw the progression in his demeanor, his everything. They're like, wow, he grew up a lot. I mean, 18-year-old, handling that much pressure, especially going against. I mean, he went against a guy, World Baseball Classic pitcher of Great Britain, still with that. He went against a guy that was affiliate in Double A with the Yankees. He went against World Series champion over there with the Rockies. He went against guys that were D1, D2 arms. I mean, and for him to get knocks off of them, I told him after the fact, I said, you faced, and he goes, I don't care who I face. I'm just there to compete against the ball. I don't care who's throwing it. Just I was proud of him for that.
No, exactly. Hey, that's at the
Yeah,
end of the day, right? We teach our kids, hey, see the ball, have fun,
yeah,
smile, enjoy it because you don't know when the last day is gonna come. You don't know when
right,
you're gonna have to hang up your cleats and go live in the real world. Right now
exactly.
that's playing baseball is like the dream for most of us that we wish you could have done. But if you can continue doing, you have the stamina and the ability to play every day, go at it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So one last thing we want to touch on. You mentioned to me about Team USA, the America Cup. Can you
hmm
kind of share with us what that is, how did that come together, and who's competing in that?
Yeah, so I believe it's the Pacific Division in the Professional Baseball League in Mexico, and it's out of Sinaloa. And our team is comprised of Indy affiliate LMB guys, and we're really excited about it. I'm going to be the first base coach there, and help out with the outfield a little bit. And that's going to be September 19th through September 26th. It's supposed to be televised and everything like that, but it's a pretty big deal. Yeah, so I'm just excited to see the talent. I'm excited to work with the coaching staff. We got ex bench coach with the Red Sox there, also the skipper, the head guy there. He's a three-time World Series champ. He played on the Yankees and played with the Red Sox as well. We got some United Baseball guys on coaching staff. I'm very honored and fortunate to be selected as one of the coaches to help out coach there as well. And it's funny because the owner of the team, he's like, what did he say? He said something like, "So, you have any questions?" I'll say, "Yeah, I have a question." He goes, what's that?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't put me on third base." I said, "I'm usually a third base coach," and he's like, "What do you mean?" And I go, "Well, I'm used to, And he goes, "Oh, we do things differently here." He said, "You'll have an earpiece in, they'll be getting the signs for you at first." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, that's cool." He's like, "You'll still be in control." I was like, "All right, awesome."
Well, listen, it's better than being a first base coach than being somewhere in the back of the dugout where you can relay some of the message. I mean, you're gonna be on the field, and you're gonna be on TV, so we get to see you like in every game.
I know, I know, it's exciting.
So is I I'm assuming the America Cup has to do, it's going to include teams from, North and South America.
Yeah.
So different countries are represented, similar to the World Baseball Classic, but more for, you know, independent type
Yeah,
players.
it's actually the professional Pacific Division in Mexico. So it's going to be those
Okay.
teams that are there. And some of these guys, I mean, you've seen it. You've seen LMB. I mean, they're
Yeah.
ball player. I mean, they're ex-affiliate guys. I mean, you see Cano doing his thing down there, and so
So you're bringing a team there. Is that how that works? Where you're bringing an American team to
yeah,
that particular tournament, and then they're going
hmm
to play against you're going to play against all those teams in the Mexican League.
absolutely, yeah,
Got it.
absolutely,
Got it.
yeah.
Well, that should be pretty cool. Is it ESPN broadcasting it, or who's broadcasting?
I think it's a broadcast down there.
Oh, broadcast down there. So we
Yeah,
might be able to find it online.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Now sometimes you see MLB Network do some of these international games, so maybe it'll be there too.
yeah.
Very cool. Hey,
Mhm.
great opportunity. I don't know how you fit it all in.
Yeah.
Is there a month of the year that you don't have a lot of coaching commitments?
So right now, we just had the coaches meeting at San Diego State
Okay.
last week. San Diego High reached out to me, and I told my assistant coaches I'm not going to be back on the field over there till December or January. So just let me chill out with my family for a bit. And then the San Diego show, they're trying to figure out okay where they need me as far as because I just got back in town like I think it was last week I got back in town. So we're trying to square all that away. So probably August, September. September we have our tryouts with San Diego State. So September is kind of so yeah, probably August, September, and then I just get back in the swing of things.
Get right back into it. Yeah.
Yeah,
The club teams do play a fall season and a spring season.
yeah, yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha. Just like the other college teams.
Right.
Um, yeah, you really last time we talked, you really opened my eyes to some of the club baseball stuff. Um, and I've heard more and more about it since. And I think when we talked before in the way you described it is almost creating like a minor league system
It
for the
is.
universities,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is I've seen it and I've heard about a player recently with another big D1 college that is going to try out with the with the head team or the main team.
Yeah,
So it's kind of neat, and it probably helps a lot in this transfer portal world where
it
instead
does.
of going and chasing players all over the country, you can kind of
Yep.
look internally and say, hey, is there anybody there?
Yep. Yep. I mean, I cut like close to 100 kids last year. And
Wow.
yeah, close to 100 kids last year. And I keep, and I say, hey, we might as well make another division. Well, so club baseball, as you know, it's D1 all the way down to D4. So San Diego State's D1, like UCLA's D1 club, so there's a whole division ranking as well. And you got these bigger universities, that like we talked about, they use it as a minor league system. So if they're struggling, they'll pick a guy up, whether it's an arm, whether it's a position guy, maybe they need a bullpen guy, they'll pick it up from the club. And if I was, say, for example, I had a D1 NCAA team, that's what I would use it for. I mean, it's smart
Yeah, right.
because they have to main GPA, they have to be students in the
Right.
college. I
It's
mean,
easier.
it's smart. It's smart to do that. But some guys don't want to budge, and they're just like club guys are club guys, and I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think the mentality on that might change over time, like you're saying there. You don't
hmm
have to go through the process
hmm
of getting a student to move and get enrolled in the school.
hmm
And you may be able to find good enough talent within your own ranks to get there. Because there's that choice that a player has to make from a college standpoint.
hmm
They have to decide, let's say you're a pretty good high school baseball player that could potentially get on in a D1 school. Well, or a D2 or a high D2 school or something like that. But you want to go to a certain school for their academic programs, or you don't want to put all your eggs in that baseball basket and play D2, D3 baseball.
hmm
Um, you might look at going to the big school that you want to go to and then just keep playing that way. So you may see a change over time with that.
Oh yeah, majority of the D1 guys that play Division I club baseball, they already did 2 years of JUCO. Some of them are transfer portal guys, like you talked about. I mean, I just got a kid this year. He hit 20 bombs his sophomore year in Southern California in JUCO. Went to Cal State Dominguez Hills, went there, played ball there, and then now he's just trying to, he transferred over to San Diego State because the academics and, we got the fraternities, we got the weather. And
I
he contacted me. He's like, "Hey, I want to just play for you my final year." I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I've heard a lot of good stuff, whatever." And I want to. I was like, "All right, cool." So I mean, you get guys like that all the time, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's amazing. It's a whole different world with that kind of that recruiting
mhm,
and the transfer portal and the college baseball scene.
yeah,
So cool to hear about it.
mhm,
Well, it was great catching up with you, David.
yeah,
We learned a lot. It's good to see kind of that beginning of season, end of season, and how it all progresses.
yeah. I appreciate you guys so much and what you guys are doing. Uh, I'm blessed to be on your show, and I hope it continues to grow.
Well,
Yeah, I
it
mean,
will with all these great stories of baseball. I mean,
I know, and it's good,
when you look at the world of baseball, there's so many different teams out there and so many abundance of players. We interviewed just one coach a month. We'll be at 1 million shows in the next 5 years, right?
right? Well, the thing is too is that like we're here in Florida and it's a hotbed for baseball talent, right? But Southern California is another one of the other top places in the country for baseball, and it's so far away, right? We're so far on the opposite ends of the coast. Um, so it's good to get a report from, hey, what's going on over there? Because I kind of know what's going on in Florida, but it's good to hear, well, there's a whole other pool out in California where people are playing baseball at a high level.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
well, this has been episode 96. I want to reference anybody back if you want to hear sort of David's backstory. Go to episode 92 of our
82.
podcast.
82.
Sorry, yes. I'm sorry. 82 of our podcast. That was a little bit while before that. So we were on 82, and this has been episode 96. David Aceron, thanks for joining us again.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you.